All right, today we're diving into this really beautiful story from Ruskin Bond about a grandmother who just refused to let age slow her down. It's an amazing tale about passion, family, and what it means to live life on your own terms, even if that means, living it up in a tree. This one line, it tells you everything you need to know about her. In a world that expected her to act her age, she would just laugh and choose joy over being proper every single time. And that wonderfully rebellious spirit is really at the heart of this whole story.
So, who exactly was this incredible woman? Well, it turns out she had a very specific and pretty extraordinary talent. It's so telling that her grandson, the poet, doesn't just call her a good climber, he calls her a genius. See, this wasn't just a hobby for her. It was this incredible natural gift she had for getting up any tree, didn't matter how tall or how wide it was. And get this, she was doing all of this at 62. I mean, think about that. At an age when most people are being told to take it easy, she was still climbing up to the highest branches like it was nothing. It's a number that just completely shatters our typical ideas about aging. And this passion of hers wasn't some new thing she picked up. Nope, it started way back when she was just 6 years old, taught by her brother. So this was a skill she had literally been perfecting her entire life. It was her source of joy and freedom from when she was a little girl all the way into her senior years. But of course, not everyone was a fan of her high-flying hobby. And this is where we get to the main conflict of the story, the clash between her free spirit and what society thought a grandmother should be doing. And here's the difference in a nutshell. Her neighbors were always telling her to grow old gracefully. But she'd just laugh that off and say she'd much rather grow old disgracefully. You can just tell, to her, gracefully sounded kind of boring, while disgracefully sounded like a whole lot of fun. Now, their concern was coming from a good place, for sure. They were just worried sick that she was going to have a terrible accident. But in all that worry, they were completely missing the point, that climbing trees was what made her feel alive. They only saw the risk, but she felt pure joy. And then, one day, the very thing that everyone was so worried about, well, it finally happened. But maybe not exactly in the way they thought it would. So one afternoon, the rest of the family was out in town, and she went up a tree, just like she always did. But this time, after getting all the way to the top, she couldn't get back down. She was stuck, and it was a whole big ordeal to finally get her rescued from way up there. So after the rescue, the family called the doctor, and what happened next turned out to be a way worse punishment for Grandma than any fall could ever be. The doctor checked her over and prescribed the most sensible thing you could imagine, a full week stuck in bed. And you can almost hear the family sighing with relief, probably thinking, okay, good, this will finally keep her safe. But for Grandma, oh, this was absolute torture. The story doesn't just say it was tough. It says it was a brief season in hell. That really tells you everything, doesn't it? The real suffering for her wasn't the risk of falling. It was being grounded, trapped inside four walls. Lying there in bed, she must have felt totally caged in. She was missing the freedom of being up in the branches, that incredible view from the top, and just the simple pleasure of watching the leaves dance in the wind. Her connection to the trees was deep, and being cut off from it was just unbearable. So, the moment she felt a bit stronger, she made her feelings crystal clear. And this is where the story just takes this wonderful, heartwarming turn, all thanks to her amazing family. After she recovered, she told her son that she just couldn't live like this anymore. She wanted a house in a treetop. And instead of arguing with her, he just got it. He understood. He knew his duty wasn't to keep his mom grounded, but to help her live the life that she really wanted. So, what was the incredible solution? Well, if Grandma couldn't be kept out of the trees, they would just build her a permanent home right up there with the branches, a real sanctuary in the sky. And so, her son and her grandson, the poet, they got right to work. They designed and built her this perfect little house in the treetop, complete with its own window and a door. It was literally everything she could have ever wanted. Grandma moved right into her treetop home, and that's where she lived, in total bliss. The family would bring her meals up on a tray, and she could finally be exactly where she belonged, with her spirit totally free, living her life disgracefully and joyfully. And that just leaves us with this beautiful question to think about.
This story, it's not really just about an old lady who liked to climb trees, is it? It's a powerful reminder that true happiness often means breaking the rules, and that maybe the greatest gift we can give to the people we love is the freedom to be unapologetically themselves.